To unpack this a bit more further, we're now joined by EMPD spokesperson Kelebogile Thepa, and she joins us via our video link. Kelebogile, thank you so much for joining us this evening here in SABC News. One would say and begin by saying this is rather quite embarrassing that at least 167 officers have been convicted and are still working in EMPD. How was this missed?
Good evening to you in studio and again to the viewers at home. We wish to confirm that yes, though we might be having 167 of our employees who currently have criminal records, there's nothing to be embarrassed in a sense that, transparency was exercised by the department in that this vetting process was undertaken by the very same department which further established that yes, members with, or rather the 250 are having illicit activities registered against their name.
How do motorists even begin to trust EMPD officials if we now know that at least 167 of them have been convicted?
There is 3,199 officers who are not having any illicit activities registered against their name or no criminal records. So with that said, powers vested in a police officer is that when being stopped, one needs to comply with an instruction of a police officer. And understandably so that these are powers vested in the very same Metro Police officers.
I'm reminded of the saying, one rotten potato spoils the whole bag. And that's what you're alluding to, that there's 3,000 officials. But the truth of the matter is that we do have 167 of these officers, which is quite concerning, especially if you are a motorist.
As a department, having taken this initiative to do this exercise of vetting and further verification of its employees, it also just goes to show an adherence to that which is about to be a principle of transparency.
Why are they still employed? Do we know the processes which are underway to ensure that we do not have officers who are convicted and who are still, ensuring that the laws of this country are abided by?
Currently, engagements are held with the Human Resource Department to then have the next course of action be determined. That will again aid with bringing the matter to finality, only on the basis that various factors have to be taken into account, guided, of course, by all the legal prescripts.
How often do the officers get screened? And I understand that this was an initiative conducted by the EMPD, but to ensure that, we have law-abiding officers, how often is this conducted?
This, of course, normally so with the employment, as we know that an advert would be out stipulating there that there shouldn't be any illicit activity or a criminal record fine against a person. So the screening does happen prior to the employment of an individual, but whilst within the employ, then those individual or rather our colleagues would then commit these crimes.
And I'm sure
and I do, again, just confirm.
Sorry, you can continue.
Sorry. Yes, that, these must happen on a regular basis.
When you say regular basis, how often should this happen so we don't have some falling through the cracks like we have at the moment?
On a regular basis, as per, we really do an extension of the service to the South African Police Services, understanding the scope and nature of work and also the technicalities that come with it as regular as possible.
And would you say that this, the onus here should also be on those officers who have been convicted? Do you also accept that it should also be their responsibility to report themselves so that we don't find a city and a Metro Police Department being embarrassed like this?
Correct. So great duty is placed on the officer to, upon acquiring this criminal record, to forthwith then inform the employer of the record.
All right. And, when it comes to setting this precedent, which has already been set now, how will you better your services to ensure that we don't have a problem of this nature once again?
This is a learning curve, and as we said, or rather alluded to the fact that these must happen on a regular basis, because we do again confirm that prior to the engagement within the city or as an employee, such a vetting or verification then gets conducted.
Do we know that if whether these officers will be let go so that we can ensure that those without any criminal records can fill these posts and those who are ready to take up this service?
Those will be determined based on whatever outcomes that has been then decided by the city.
What is the way forward for the Ekurhuleni city now that it knows that it's dealing with so many of its officers, some of them who have been found to be convicted of crimes?
The matter is sub judice, and as such, we can only just allow an opportunity for the city to reach its finality in terms of addressing this matter.
All right, thank you very much, Kelebogile. That is Kelebogile Thepa. She is EMPD spokesperson, just talking about those officers employed in the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department. We know that at least 167 officers have been convicted.